Have you ever stood in front of the mirror, looking at your reflection and feeling a pang of frustration, wondering why, no matter what you do, that persistent fat in your abdomen seems to have settled in for good? I want you to know that you are not fighting this battle alone. It's a concern that affects millions of people worldwide, a worry that seems to intensify as we add more years to our lives. Now, what would you think if I told you that the key to winning this fight might not lie in extreme dietary regimes that leave you hungry and drained of energy, nor in strenuous exercise routines that exhaust your body, but in an incredibly simple and tiny adjustment to your daily routine? Visualize for a moment the possibility of being able to eradicate that dangerous abdominal fat, feeling noticeably lighter, less bloated, and, most importantly, regaining control over your health with a gesture as simple as taking a tablespoon of a specific ingredient each day. This is not a fleeting promise or a magic solution, but a revelation based on science, promoted and endorsed by a world-renowned physician, Dr. William Li. Stay with me, because in the next few minutes, we are going to unravel this secret and map out a complete and detailed path for you to transform your well-being from the inside out. If this introduction has already caught your interest and you feel this information could be valuable to you, I ask for a small gesture that helps us tremendously. Take a short pause and hit the like button, and if you haven't yet joined our growing community of people committed to their health, now is the perfect time to subscribe and turn on the notification bell. This way, you'll ensure you don't miss any of our future videos packed with practical, science-based advice. Your support is the fuel that allows us to continue creating content that we hope can make a real difference in your life. To be able to truly grasp and understand the immense power of the strategy we are about to unveil, it is absolutely crucial that we first understand our adversary. We are not talking about just any type of fat. The belly fat that so many of us struggle with is not merely the soft, superficial layer we can pinch, technically known as subcutaneous fat. We are facing a much more sinister, hidden, and dangerous enemy: visceral fat. Try not to picture this fat as simple padding. Instead, visualize it as a dense, biologically active mass that infiltrates the depths of your abdominal cavity. This mass doesn't just take up space. It surrounds, compresses, and literally suffocates your most vital organs: your liver, your pancreas, your intestines, and even your heart. This is not an inert or passive fat. It is a true metabolic factory operating tirelessly, pumping a constant stream of harmful substances directly into your bloodstream. The fundamental reason why visceral fat is so incredibly dangerous, especially for people who have passed the 50, 60, and 70-year mark, is that it behaves like a rogue and uncontrolled endocrine organ. It releases a flood of inflammatory cytokines, which are small proteins that act as messengers, promoting a state of chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your entire body. Chronic inflammation is the fertile ground where almost all diseases associated with the aging process germinate. Let's think about this carefully. Heart disease, the leading cause of mortality worldwide, is intrinsically linked to the inflammation that damages and hardens the arteries. Visceral fat directly contributes to increasing blood pressure, elevates levels of LDL, the bad cholesterol, and triglycerides, while simultaneously decreasing HDL, the good cholesterol, thus creating the perfect storm to trigger a heart attack or stroke. But the devastation doesn't end there. This internal fat severely and directly interferes with how your body manages sugar. It releases chemical compounds that cause your cells to become resistant to insulin, the hormone responsible for regulating blood sugar levels. When your cells ignore insulin's signal, your pancreas is forced to work overtime, producing more and more of this hormone in a desperate attempt to maintain balance. This overexertion is the direct path to prediabetes and eventually to type 2 diabetes. And as if that weren't enough, more recent research has uncovered a chilling and direct link between visceral fat and cognitive decline. The systemic inflammation this fat generates can cross the blood-brain barrier, directly affecting your brain's health and significantly increasing the risk of developing neurodegenerative diseases like Alzheimer's and other forms of dementia. A revealing study published in the prestigious journal Obesity found that people with larger accumulations of visceral fat had smaller brain volumes, a clear sign of brain atrophy. In essence, having a bulging belly due to this internal fat is not just a cosmetic issue. It's a warning sign, an indicator that your body is in a state of silent crisis, fighting an internal battle that is accelerating your aging process and paving the way for serious and debilitating diseases. So, what is the reason this visceral fat seems to accumulate so easily as we get older? The answer is not simple, but multifactorial. First, our basal metabolic rate, which is the amount of energy our body burns in a state of absolute rest, naturally begins to decline after the age of 50. This decline is largely due to a phenomenon known as sarcopenia, which is age-related muscle loss. Muscle is a very metabolically active tissue. Less muscle mass translates into a slower, when we are less efficient metabolic engine. Second, hormonal changes play an absolutely crucial role. In women, the arrival of menopause brings a drastic drop in estrogen levels. This hormonal shift causes the body to redistribute fat, moving it from the hips and thighs to the abdominal area in the form of visceral fat. In men, a similar process occurs with the gradual decline of testosterone, a phenomenon known as andropause, which has a similar effect, promoting fat storage in the midsection. And third, lifestyle factors, such as a diet rich in ultra-processed foods, refined sugars, and simple carbohydrates combined with reduced physical activity, add to these biological changes, creating the perfect environment for visceral fat to thrive. It becomes a vicious cycle. Visceral fat further slows down your metabolism and increases inflammation, which makes you feel more tired and less likely to move, which in turn leads to more fat accumulation. Breaking this cycle is absolutely fundamental to aspiring to a long, healthy, and vibrant life. Now that we have a deep understanding of our enemy's nature, the time has come to introduce the strategy, simple in its execution but immensely powerful in its effects. William Li, a renowned physician, scientist, and author of the bestseller Eat to Beat Disease, has highlighted in his work. The solution he proposes, the 1 tablespoon a day method, centers on a humble, ancient, and surprisingly effective ingredient, apple cider vinegar. But be warned, it's not just any vinegar you find at the supermarket. It is vitally important to choose one that is raw, unfiltered, and contains the mother, that cloudy, stringy, web-like substance that settles at the bottom of the bottle. The mother is a symbiotic colony of bacteria and yeast, composed of strands of proteins, enzymes, and beneficial bacteria that are the key to its potent health effects. The active ingredient, the true hero in apple cider vinegar's composition, is acetic acid. This compound is responsible for giving vinegar its sour taste and pungent smell, but its benefits go far beyond its culinary uses. Dr. Li explains that acetic acid works on multiple fronts to combat visceral fat. First, it acts as a genetic switch. Cutting-edge scientific research, like a key study published in the Journal of Agricultural and Food Chemistry, has shown that acetic acid has the ability to activate certain genes in the liver that increase fat oxidation. In simple terms, it gives your body the order to start burning fat for fuel at a much more efficient rate. Simultaneously, it has the ability to deactivate the genes responsible for lipogenesis, which is the process of creating and storing new fat cells. It's like having a traffic director inside your body, diverting energy away from the fat storage route and directing it onto the fat-burning highway. Second, acetic acid significantly improves insulin sensitivity. Remember how visceral fat promotes resistance to this hormone. Well, acetic acid has the completely opposite effect. It helps your muscles and liver absorb sugar from the blood much more effectively. This reduces the levels of circulating sugar in the bloodstream and, consequently, lessens the need for the pancreas to pump out excessive amounts of insulin. Less circulating insulin is excellent news because insulin is a fat storage hormone by nature. When insulin levels are high, it is practically impossible for your body to access its fat reserves to burn them. A Japanese study conducted on obese individuals found that those who consumed vinegar daily for a period of 12 weeks experienced significant reductions in body weight, body mass index, visceral fat area, and waist circumference compared to the placebo group that did not consume vinegar. Finally, apple cider vinegar promotes a feeling of satiety. Taking a tablespoon diluted in water before a main meal can help you feel fuller and more satisfied with less food. It is believed that acetic acid slows gastric emptying, which means that food remains in your stomach for longer. This sends stronger and more lasting satiety signals to the brain, leading to a natural reduction in total calorie intake throughout the day. To incorporate this habit into your routine, the method is incredibly simple. Dilute 1 tablespoon of raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar in a large glass of water. Drinking it through a straw can help protect your tooth enamel from the acid. You can take it in the morning on an empty stomach or about 15 to 20 minutes before your main meal. It's a small step that, when practiced consistently, can set off a cascade of positive biological changes that attack visceral fat. However, directly at its source. Dr. William Li is very clear in emphasizing that while apple cider vinegar is a powerful catalyst, it is not a silver bullet or a magic solution. Its true and maximum effectiveness is unleashed when it is integrated into a holistic approach that addresses all aspects of your health. The first pillar of this comprehensive approach is to nourish your inner garden, the gut microbiome. Inside your intestines reside trillions of microorganisms, an incredibly complex community of bacteria, viruses, and fungi that play an absolutely fundamental role in your metabolism, your immune system, and, of course, your weight. A healthy and diverse microbiome is like having a team of expert gardeners who keep your body running smoothly. These microorganisms break down the fibers from food that your body cannot digest, produce essential vitamins like K and some B vitamins, and, most importantly, help regulate inflammation throughout the body. When your microbiome is out of balance, a state known as dysbiosis, harmful bacteria can proliferate and take over. These pathogenic bacteria can damage the lining of your gut, creating a condition known as leaky gut. This allows undigested food particles, toxins, and other undesirable compounds to leak through the intestinal barrier and enter your bloodstream. This leakage triggers an immune response and chronic low-grade inflammation, exactly the same type of inflammation that promotes visceral fat storage. Healthy gut bacteria, on the other hand, feed on fiber and produce incredibly beneficial compounds called short-chain fatty acids, SCFAs, such as butyrate. These SCFAs are a primary energy source for the cells of your colon. They strengthen the intestinal barrier, and they possess potent anti-inflammatory effects. Additionally, they influence the production of appetite-regulating hormones, such as peptide YY and GLP-1, helping you feel full and satisfied. To cultivate a healthy microbiome, you need to act like a good gardener, providing the right nutrients. This translates to consuming foods rich in probiotics, the good bacteria themselves, and prebiotics, the food that those good bacteria need to thrive. Probiotic foods include natural yogurt with live and active cultures, kefir, a fermented milk drink similar to a liquid yogurt, sauerkraut, fermented cabbage, kimchi, a Korean dish of fermented vegetables, miso, and kombucha tea. Dr. Li also highlights Pu Erh tea, a fermented tea of Chinese origin that acts as a probiotic and has been shown to help reduce blood lipids. Prebiotics, the fertilizer for your inner garden, are found in fiber-rich foods like garlic, onions, leeks, asparagus, bananas, especially those that are a bit green, oats, artichokes, and legumes. By including a wide variety of these foods in your daily diet, you are actively repopulating and nourishing the microscopic allies fighting on the front lines against visceral fat. Now, let's delve deeper into the specific foods that not only support your microbiome but also directly combat inflammation and help your body switch from fat storage mode to fat burning mode. This is where we can be truly proactive and strategic with our daily nutrition. Number 1. The soluble fiber superstars. Soluble fiber is a type of fiber that dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance in your digestive tract. This unique quality makes it an incredibly powerful weapon against visceral fat. When you consume foods rich in soluble fiber, this gel slows down the entire digestive process. This has two main and very beneficial effects. First, it keeps you fuller for longer, significantly reducing the likelihood of overeating or snacking between meals. It slows the absorption of sugar into the bloodstream. This prevents the drastic spikes in blood sugar and insulin that, as we've already seen, are a direct signal for your body to store fat. Furthermore, as we mentioned, soluble fiber is the preferred food of your beneficial gut bacteria. Foods like oats, barley, legumes, lentils, chickpeas, black beans, apples, pears, carrots, and chia and flax seeds. A large-scale study published in the journal Obesity followed participants for 5 years and found that for every 10-gram increase in daily soluble fiber intake, the rate of visceral fat accumulation decreased by an impressive 3.7%, regardless of other lifestyle factors like exercise. Number 2. The power of lean protein. Protein is the basic building block of life, the brick with which our body is built, and it is especially crucial as we age to combat visceral fat. Protein is essential for 3 key reasons. First, it has a high thermic effect, which means your body burns more calories to digest, absorb, and metabolize protein than it does to digest fats or carbohydrates. Second, it is the most satiating macronutrient. Including protein in your meals helps you control your appetite and naturally reduce your total calorie intake. Third, and perhaps most importantly for older adults, it is vital for maintaining and building lean muscle mass. More muscle equals a faster metabolism, which means your body is better equipped to burn fat throughout the day, including visceral fat. The goal should be to include a source of lean protein in every meal. Excellent options include fish, especially fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, and sardines, which are also rich in anti-inflammatory omega-3 fatty acids, turkey, eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, and plant-based sources like lentils, tofu, tempeh, and edamame are also fantastic. Number 3. The healthy fats that fight fat. It may sound completely contradictory, but eating the right kind of fat can help you lose unwanted fat. Monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats, found in abundance in foods like extra virgin olive oil, avocados, nuts, especially walnuts, and seeds, chia, flax, sunflower, pumpkin, have potent anti-inflammatory properties. They help quell the systemic inflammation that drives visceral fat storage. Extra virgin olive oil, a cornerstone of the healthy Mediterranean diet, is rich in a compound called oleocanthal. Avocados are not only which has been shown to have anti-inflammatory effects with fiber to ibuprofen, making them a 1-2 punch against belly fat. On the other hand, it is absolutely crucial to avoid or drastically minimize the consumption of artificial trans fats, found in many processed foods, commercial baked goods, margarines, and fast foods, as they have been scientifically proven to directly increase visceral fat and the risk of heart disease. Number 4. The antioxidant rainbow. Brightly colored fruits and vegetables are your best allies in the fight against inflammation. They are packed with antioxidants and phytochemicals, which are plant compounds that protect your cells from damage caused by free radicals and inflammation. Think about eating the rainbow every day. The deep reds of tomatoes and watermelons provide you with lycopene, a potent antioxidant. The oranges and yellows of carrots, bell peppers, and mangoes are rich in carotenoids. The greens of spinach, kale, and broccoli provide you with lutein, zeaxanthin, and sulforaphane. The blues and purples of blueberries, blackberries, and eggplants are loaded with anthocyanins. Each color represents a different army of disease-fighting compounds. These foods not only help to calm the inflammation generated by visceral fat, but also support the overall health of your organs, which are under constant siege from this internal fat. Number 5. Thermogenic spices and drinks. Certain spices and drinks can give your metabolism a small but significant boost, an effect known as thermogenesis, which is the production of heat in the body. Green tea is one of the most studied and effective options. It contains caffeine and a powerful antioxidant called epigallocatechin gallate, EGCG, which together can modestly increase metabolism and fat oxidation. Ginger and turmeric are spices with potent anti-inflammatory properties. Curcumin, the active compound in turmeric, is particularly effective at reducing inflammation at a molecular level. Remember to consume it with a pinch of black pepper to increase its absorption. Cinnamon can help improve insulin sensitivity, and cayenne pepper contains capsaicin, which can slightly increase calorie expenditure and fat burning. While the effect of these foods alone is not massive, when regularly incorporated into an already healthy diet, their synergistic benefits can contribute noticeably to the overall goal of reducing visceral fat. Of course, no health strategy would be complete without addressing the fundamental pillars of lifestyle: movement, stress management, and sleep quality. Exercise is a non-negotiable component for eliminating visceral fat. In fact, numerous studies show that exercise can be even more effective than diet alone in specifically reducing this dangerous type of fat. A combination of aerobic exercise and strength training is the ideal and most effective approach. Aerobic exercise, such as brisk walking, running, swimming, cycling, or dancing, burns calories and drastically improves cardiovascular health. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate intensity activity per week. Strength training, such as lifting weights, using resistance bands, or doing bodyweight exercises, chair squats, wall push-ups, planks, is equally important. This type of exercise builds and maintains like a furnace which, as we already know, 24 hours a day. Your resting metabolism. The connection between chronic stress and belly fat is undeniable and is mediated by a hormone called cortisol. When we are chronically stressed, our adrenal glands pump out excess cortisol. Elevated cortisol not only increases appetite and cravings for sugary and fatty foods, comfort food, but it also gives our body the specific signal to store fat predominantly in the abdominal region. It's a primitive survival mechanism that has turned against us in the modern world. Therefore, finding healthy and effective ways to manage stress is absolutely crucial. Practices like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, gentle yoga, spending time in nature, or even dedicating time to a hobby you fully enjoy can significantly reduce cortisol levels and break the vicious cycle of stress and fat storage. And we cannot forget the restorative power of sleep. A lack of quality sleep wreaks havoc on the hormones that regulate our appetite. It increases levels of ghrelin, the hunger hormone, and decreases levels of leptin, the satiety hormone. This hormonal combination leaves you feeling hungry, unsatisfied, and much more prone to making poor food choices the next day. Furthermore, a lack of sleep also negatively affects insulin sensitivity and increases cortisol levels. Most adults establishing need a regular 7 and 9 hours of restorative sleep, quiet, and cool bedroom environment, and avoiding screens, phones, tablets, TVs for at least an hour before bed can dramatically improve your sleep quality and, consequently, massively support your efforts to lose visceral fat. In summary, the path to eliminating dangerous visceral fat and relieving that uncomfortable abdominal bloating is a mosaic of interconnected and synergistic strategies. William Lee's revelation about the power of a simple tablespoon of apple cider vinegar a day is a fantastic starting point and a powerful catalyst for change. This simple act can set in motion biological processes that favor fat burning and reduce inflammation. However, its true and maximum potential is unleashed when it becomes the cornerstone of a broader, conscious, and healthy lifestyle. It's about nourishing your gut microbiome with fermented and fiber-rich foods, building your meals around lean proteins, healthy fats, and a rainbow of vegetables. It's about moving your body in ways you enjoy, taming the beast of chronic stress, and honoring your body's fundamental need for deep, restorative sleep. This is not a quick fix, but an enriching and loving commitment to your long-term health, an approach that will not only shrink your waistline but also strengthen your body, sharpen your mind, and fill you with a renewed vitality to fully enjoy your golden years.